here's Chief Meteorologist Tony Petrarca with your live Pinpoint Doppler 12 Futurecast.
Now, Tony, some of the things we talked about, at least for people a little more inland as well, because people are getting their boats ready, is taking things off the patio, you know, that umbrella that'll end up 5 blocks down the road, that sort of thing. Just little things like that, too.
Yeah, especially lightweight deck furniture, kids' toys, the umbrella, hanging plants, and things like that, because we will have some strong gusty wind, but probably not of hurricane magnitude like southeastern Mass, and especially the Cape and the islands. So it's one of those situations where the closer you are to the Cape, the stronger the wind will be. And Earl is still a pretty strong storm, Karen. Look at the satellite photo. Even though the wind speed has come down a bit, the size of the storm has expanded. In other words, it's covering more area, though the wind speeds now have dropped from 145 yesterday down to 115 miles per hour. Though still a Category 3 hurricane, which is considered a major hurricane. The surf, the swells are already building. These are live pictures from the Coast Guard house in Narragansett, looking out over Narragansett Town Beach. In fact, let's get in a little closer here. You can see some surfers in the water, and every now and then we get some pretty big swells and sets that come in, and this will be the trend. It'll only get larger and more severe, the wave action, later tonight and especially come tomorrow night into Saturday morning. So the heavy surf advisories will more than likely be issued. The storm will make its closest pass on Friday evening. Large surf and waves likely. The highest risk as far as the heaviest rain and the damaging wind would be out across Cape Cod and the islands. Even at this late stage in the game, 36 hours out, the track is still a close call. And even though the worst weather will be out across the Cape and Islands, it'll be rough along the Rhode Island coastline as well as far as rain, wind, and waves. Rainfall totals perhaps 3 to 5 inches of rain over a short period of time. Beach erosion and some wave washover is possible, perhaps some of the waves spilling over onto some of the coastal roads, and power outages, especially southeastern Massachusetts. Now, a tropical storm has winds of 39 to 73 miles per hour, whereas hurricane force winds are 74 or higher. So keeping that in mind, here are the warnings. Tropical storm warnings for the areas in yellow, especially the south shore of Rhode Island, and a hurricane warning in red from Westport, Massachusetts, out towards the Cape, and especially the islands, and especially Nantucket. Nantucket will bear the brunt of this storm with damaging wind. Meanwhile, in Providence, it is quiet, sunshine. So if you're heading out this evening, running some last-minute errands, there are no weather problems. Tomorrow morning, the clouds will roll in, some showers by late morning, but a steadier rain starts to work in during the afternoon. It's not as hot as today, with temperatures topped out in the 90s. Now let's talk more about Earl and some of the specifics as far as what the storm will do. It's near the Outer Banks of North Carolina. The eye has disappeared, indicating some slight weakening. It may try to make a comeback before it weakens again in the cooler waters of the North Atlantic. Category 3 storm, winds of 115, gusts to 140, no longer moving northwest, but now due north. And that's a good sign, because perhaps it's an indication of an eventual bend back out to the right and out to sea. The sooner that happens, the better off we are as far as rain and wind. But here is the Futurecast track showing the storm near the Outer Banks of Hatteras very late tonight as a Category 2 storm. This is 2 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow south of Block Island. Closest pass tomorrow night late into early on Saturday morning, and then racing away into the Canadian Maritimes on Saturday afternoon. Now the yellow line represents the eye of the storm, the path. That is very close to Nantucket, and just a slight shift to the west would mean more of an impact as far as rain and wind for Rhode Island, but at the same time, a slight shift to the right out to sea would mean less of an impact. So even at 36 hours out, you want to still stay tuned to further forecast. But one thing's for sure, the waves are going to be huge. Heavy surf both Friday and Saturday. Even with the sun coming out on Saturday, the waves will still be big. And of course, we're going to get some wind impact, especially in southeastern Massachusetts. And here's what I feel as though the wind speeds will be from roughly Buzzards Bay out towards Nantucket. Hurricane force winds are possible. The areas in yellow, that includes most of Rhode Island, especially the South Shore, gusts between 30 and 60, and that can certainly take down tree limbs and power lines. As far as the rainfall, a little bit on tomorrow morning, but more so, you can see the yellows and oranges encompassing the South Shore by tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. That's when the heaviest rain will arrive, especially come tomorrow night. So wrapping it all up, closest pass tomorrow evening, heavy surf and waves. Still going to keep an eye on a last-minute shift in the track, and that will obviously change the forecast. Rainfall of 3 to 5 inches, especially southeastern Mass. The highest risk for damaging wind would be the Cape and the Islands, but even coastal Rhode Island, take caution. It is gone by Saturday. The sun comes out, but the waves will still be rough. And the rest of the holiday weekend, Sunday and Monday, sunshine, dry and cooler with temperatures upper 70s to around 80. You know the drill. Come back and check for updates to see if that track changes a little bit. That'll make all the difference as far as the magnitude of the rain and the wind. The eye stays offshore, which is good news for us, but it's still a close call.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Tony. And tonight on Eyewitness News 10 and 11, we will continue tracking Earl with our in-depth coverage to help you prepare. We'll have another update from emergency planners plus live coverage from Block Island and southeastern Massachusetts.